What a roller coaster 2020 has been. From the beginning of the year with Kobe Bryant to this COVID-19 pandemic to now, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I know a lot of you guys remember him for his role as the Black Panther for obvious reasons. However, for me, the thing I always remember about Chadwick Boseman was his portrayal of Jackie Robinson, a real life superhero, you know what I mean, in 42. Woo. All right, y'all. We're going to talk about receivers and the crazy good problem we have right now at wide receiver today. But rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Let's get it, guys. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, my name is Steven Hyder, and this is Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, sorry, yes, if you notice I paused there for a second, I did almost forget my own intro. This has been a wild ride here for 2020, guys. At some point, guys, come on, 2021, let's go. Like, Jesus. All right, y'all, today's topic, let me pick it back up a little bit here. Today's topic, we're going to talk about wide receivers. So listen, there's kind of an interesting, weird problem going on with wide receivers. Hey, from what happened last year, I'm happy to have this problem. But it is a problem. And we've even had some solutions to the problem with, think about Goodwin opting out for the year and how the difficulty level this decision would have been with Marquise Goodwin in the room as well. Him opting out kind of helped open up some stuff, right? But even as we sit here today, guys, I'm here to tell you, I think we got about 8 serious candidates here. To be honest with you, right? 8 guys I think that can play at the NFL level that is currently on this roster. Currently in the camp roster, I should say, right? Obviously we got Alshon Jeffery and Deshaun Jackson, okay? 2 veterans, blah, 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 blah. We all know that, right? We got our second-round pick in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. We got our first-round pick in Jalen Reagor. We got John Hightower, and we got Quez Watkins. Now I want to talk about 2 more guys that have been very impressive in camp. And I don't think that they're going to make the roster. Well, hang on. 9 guys. I forgot one already. That's how deep this is. I almost left off Greg Ward Jr., who's the 7th guy there in that rotation now. Now, we add on 2 more guys. That's 9 guys. 10 if we would have had, just think about the fact that we already lost Marquise Goodwin and Rob Davis, who I both think are NFL level wide receivers. Marquise Goodwin, a no-brainer there. So from 11 guys down to where we're going to have to get to 6 or 7. This is a crazy good problem to have, guys. And if you guys are still wondering, like, Steve, you haven't even said the other 2 people you were talking about. All right. Deontay Burnett. Wow, has he been good in camp, guys. Deontay Burnett, he's going to be a hard one to leave off the roster. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He's been better at running the routes than I thought. He's not a superb route runner by any stretch of the imagination, guys. But he's been way better than I thought. He's displayed reliable hands. He's got a little quickness to his game. I don't think Deontay Burnett is like a burner per se, but he's got some sudden explosion and speed to him. He's been a very pleasant surprise. And this Fulgham kid that we picked up that was drafted, I think, by the Lions, and then he's been cut from the Lions and the Packers. I don't know why he got cut so quickly by those organizations, but just a little bit I've seen in camp from him, he's been solid. He's been steady. I'm excited for these kids, man. Some of these kids can really play. And I'll try to dig up some reps if I can from Fulgham here, and I'll put one on the screen for you real quick.
A re-air of the 2017 divisional round playoff win.
And Deontay Burnett. What can you say about Deontay Burnett other than straight up impressive? I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to make the roster because I already think we're in a situation with 7 guys, and I think we need to have a conversation at the end of this video about Alshon Jeffery because, man, we got some tough things coming up, guys. But Deontay Burnett, man, has he been impressive. And, suddenness, this weird quickness he has coming in and out of his brace. I think he sinks his hips very well. He may not be the fastest guy, but he's got some agility to him. He's agile. And look, at the end of the day, I don't care about how fast you are. I care about how you're able to create separation from a defensive back, whether it's through your release or if it's at the top of your route stem. You got to create separation from DBs. or none of this crap matters. I don't care if you run a 4.1. If you can't create separation because it's just straight line speed, it doesn't matter. Cool, you're fast. Go run track. Like, that's not the way the receiver game is played, and sometimes I think that gets misconstrued. Now, if you can get a guy that's fast and agile and is just he's a chess player out there playing on his releases and at the top of his route stems against DBs, then you got something truly unique. With that said, I'm going to run a little bit of film that I found from Deontay Burnett. I just want to show you what I'm seeing from this young king. So I'm going to run a little clip of film here right now. Man, I'm excited, guys. I mean, there's a young core of receivers here in Philadelphia that shows promise. And even if we play some guys on the practice squad, so even if we sneak a Deontay Burnett, which I don't know is going to happen, I got a feeling he's going to get claimed. But maybe you can sneak Fulgham, and you can sneak other guys onto this practice squad to develop later, because I do think that development is an important key to it, and we're going to need competition next year too. Even though we're in a very good situation this year, I mean, next year we're going to have some veteran guys coming off this roster. And then you're going to have guys like JJ and Rager and these other guys that are going to have to be, monumental in terms of their role. They're going to have to be the guys then. So I think it's smart to keep guys like Manasseh Bailey around if you can, to keep guys like Fulgham or Deontay Burnett if you can. These deep roster guys, right? Because come next year, guys, like I said, it's JJ, it's Rager, it's JJ or I just said that. It's Greg Ward Jr. It's you can look and say that it's Quez Watkins, it's John Hightower. Like, you're going to need those depth guys. We're going to need guys around here that can contribute. And I think it's going to be very important to find ways of sneaking some of these guys deep onto the roster here. Outside of that, guys, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about Alshon Jeffery. I don't want to expose a Quez Watkins or a John Hightower to the waiver wire. That would be a major mistake. So I think the Eagles are in a weird situation. So where do you cut Greg Ward Jr.? I think that's a negative. Do you cut John Hightower? I think that's a negative. Do you cut Quez Watkins? I think that's a negative. I think you cut those three players, somebody's going to add them to their active roster because they're that good. Like, you got to remember, if you cut a guy, the teams can't just put them on just their practice squad if they claim them. They got to go into their active 53. So when you cut a guy, you got to keep in mind, like, will the team try to put them on their active 50? Now, once they claim waivers, anyone can sign them to the practice team. So then it's a matter of a bidding service, right? What they think about in terms of the opportunity they might have in the future versus the money you're willing to pay them on the practice squad, because some teams pay more than other teams for practice squad players. The Eagles are one of those teams that really pays well for practice squad players. So that's, some of the considerations have to go into this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Alshon Jeffery, he's a hard guy to figure out. I won't lie. I had a phone conversation with Reese and with Charles the other day, and I told him I still think, even to this day, Alshon Jeffery is still probably the best overall rounded wide receiver on this wide receiver core. But he's coming off a major foot surgery, right? I mean, he had that injury, and we don't know if he's going to be the same. Like, he might not be the same player. He lost a lot of weight. He looks healthy, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and say that JJ would be better than him. Not right now, he's not. I mean, JJ, maybe if you really walked him down, he became what we thought he was going to be in 3 or 4 years. Could he be better than Alshon? Maybe, but it ain't going to be in the next few years. But my thing is I look at Alshon, guys, I have to approach this from a practical standpoint. And the practical standpoint I'm thinking to myself is can I replace the production of Alshon Jeffery with the guys I have on the roster? And maybe it's not a one-for-one comparison with JJ and Alshon, because I don't think it's fair to JJ, because JJ's got his own things he's going through, although he's showing a lot of positive encouragements. But it's also, with me, it's Zach Ertz and it's JJ. If you take those two together, can I replace the production I was getting out of Alshon Jeffery? Yes, I can. I can absolutely replace him. Real quick, guys, I just realized that I'm expecting you guys to know exactly who I am when I say certain things. For all my guys who've been following me for a while, you know exactly what I mean when I say Zach Ertz. But for you guys who may not know me, when I'm saying Zach Ertz, I know that he plays tight end, guys. But when I say Zach Ertz, is number one in 12-man, Zach Ertz will play a lot of split end X receiver type assignments, even though he's still a tight end in 12-man. He runs those same routes. But also, it's really about conversion down in distances more than anything. Being a conversion target, like on third downs for those big conversion things, red zone targets, stuff like that. That's what I mean by that, guys. So my question becomes, do I expose guys like Quez Watkins, Greg Ward Jr., or John Hightower to the waiver wire? My answer would be no, not for Alshon. I'm not going to do that. I still know Alshon's probably the best overall receiver on this roster. And I'm not saying that Deshaun Jackson's not the most explosive, the most playmaking receiver on the roster, because he is. But I'm talking about the overall body of work as a receiver. I personally, I would move on from Alshon long before I let that happen, or I'd carry 7 wide receivers, which is a risky proposition. Because if you carry 7 wide receivers, you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe I said that backwards. I don't know. You get what I'm saying, though. You got to take from one position to give to another. So what do? Do you carry 2 quarterbacks instead of 3 quarterbacks? Do you carry 3 running backs instead of 4 running backs? Do you carry 2 tight ends instead of 3 tight ends? Do you carry 9 offensive linemen instead of 10 offensive linemen? Somewhere you've got to take from to give. And that's the bigger conversation, I think, that gets ignored when we talk about this. But I'm going to be honest with you. I love the problem we have at receiver right now. This is one heck of a good problem to have. My fear is you make one wrong decision. Hey, man, this fan base will eat Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson and the coaching staff alive. If we end up letting a guy like Deontay Burnett walk, and in 3 years down the road he turns into like one of the best premier slot receivers in the game, we're going to eat him alive for that. You know, if you let Quez Watkins go and he gets claimed and he turns out to be like a legit Terry McLaurin, Darius Slayton type receiver, man, this fan base will eat Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson and the coaching staff alive for that. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, there's the potential to make a huge mistake here. Of course, that concerns me, but it's still a good problem to have because, like I said, guys, there are 9 guys right now in this camp who can play on an NFL roster. They can play during season. They're that good. I don't know who it's going to shake out. Let me know your thoughts, guys. 6, 7. What do you do with Alshon? If you're keeping Alshon and you're only keeping 6 receivers, what receiver are you exposing? I know a lot of you are going to say JJ, guys. This is not going to happen for a second-round pick, but I understand why you want to do that. But I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to front on you guys. I'm going to be real with you. That's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Not this year. All right, y'all. Let me know your thoughts down below. You know how we end these videos. We do a little EAGLES. All right, y'all. Let's go, Eagles.